Hey all, here are OS Reviews. You're watching our video first look and a quick review of the THEEEYE E7. This is one of the least expensive native 4K action cameras that supports image stabilization built in, which makes it actually a better competitor to something like the GoPro Hero series as a premium action cam. It retails for only $90, so it's not too expensive either, and also features Wi-Fi, which allows you to connect it to a companion app on your smartphone for viewing back images and videos and acting as the viewfinder. Again, it has gyro stabilization, which is EIS. It's not optical image stabilization, but it is at least better than what we had before. And it also has, again, a pretty wide angle lens that is easy to see 170 degrees at the same time. So let's take a closer look at the packaging here. Very simple. Same, in fact, as most other THEEEYE products we've seen in the past. On the back, there's some basic additional specifications, including some of the accessories that they include, some buckles as well as mounts for bikes. Photo resolution is 14 megapixels, and the unit is indeed waterproof, at least with the case, so you can take it with you when you're diving or for extreme sports, and it should survive. So the box here, very simple. On top, we just have the E7 itself, which has these orange and black accents. We'll take a closer look at it in a second. This is the accessory box, and that's it for the larger container. In here we have the various kind of cases and mounts. As always, we get quite a few with THEEEYE and other action cams, aside from the GoPro, it seems. And this is just a back door in case the waterproof one here breaks or leaks. A micro USB cable for charging. Takes about 2 hours to completely charge. Afterwards, it'll get you about 2 hours as well, 3 hours of video recording before it runs out. There's adhesive tape, microfiber cleaning cloth, and some other mounts for, again, bikes as well as for helmets. So that's the accessory bundle. Taking a look at the design of the E7 first, you can see that it's a pretty traditional looking camera, not anything too out of the ordinary. It is using a Sony sensor on the front here. There's a power key here. You can see that the case allows you to access all the controls, so you can still use it when it's protected. There's LED lights that tells you the status, such as when it's recording, when it's turned on, it'll glow blue. There's also up and down navigation keys, shutter key for beginning to record video, and then the screen on the back along with the mount. What I really like about the design, I can see immediately, is that there is a standard tripod mount on the bottom even without the case present, which means you can use it on a selfie stick or on a tripod for recording, again, time-lapse footage in one spot. Opening up the door here, we see that the battery is a pretty standard 1100 milliamp hour capacity, but again, it works pretty well. The entire body of the action camera is made out of a soft touch rubber, which makes it very easy to grip. The screen on the back is an LCD panel, and we also have, again, some of these controls, microphones and speakers, and also the shutter key that dubs as the Wi-Fi settings key when you long press. So overall, a pretty clean design. The front of the unit has a few metal accents and has a very interesting, again, an accent that is orange running through it, just to make it look a little different from other models that the company has released in the past. So let's take a closer look at the software just by turning the unit on and taking a look at what we can see. So it's going to tell us to insert a micro SD card, which we can do here, along with the mini HDMI and micro USB. And from here we have the frame rate as well as the resolution. We can also take a look at the battery percentage remaining in the mode. We're just in the regular camcorder mode at the moment. And indeed, it's a very wide angle lens, as you can see here. Display seems decent, but again, it's not an IPS panel, so if you tilt it really dramatically, you do lose some of the accuracy. But overall, not bad considering the smaller size, and you can connect to a phone for a larger display. I can tap on the back here, the back key, to switch over to taking images, 14 megapixels by default, and tap on it again to go into the menu. Long holding on the shutter key brings up the Wi-Fi settings, where you can take a look at the Wi-Fi name and the password if you want to link your phone up to the THEEEYE E7 directly. This is the Wi-Fi network's name. Diving in deeper, we can see that there's image stabilization, so how much you want the video to be stabilized. There's also wind noise reduction, which is a pretty cool feature for the microphones. It's not something that we typically find on these action cams, and it does work to a certain extent. Obviously, if the wind is too strong, it's still going to block out the tiny microphones on here, but in general, it definitely is better than not having it on here. There's also audio recording, so activated by sound. There's also a driving mode, so you can use this as a dashboard camera. A low light mode that works okay, scene detection. There's also loop recording, so again, using this as a security cam, it's only going to keep something when there's a motion detected. And there's also a fast motion mode, which is the opposite of slow-mo. All right, so going back here, there's also photo settings, ISO, time-lapse photos, photo bursts, and mode selection. Finally, for playback, again, you can see some of those images as well as video files directly using the display of the unit. As shown from the video footage, the E7 actually delivers pretty decent quality considering the price. I would say that it almost rivals, again, the GoPro Hero 5, especially in decent lighting environments. It still tends to saturate the colors a little bit more. It gets you slightly warmer colors than on the Hero, which is slightly more realistic looking. But overall, the gyro stabilization comes across quite strongly. It helps stabilize the movement of walking and slight shakiness as well. Not quite as good, of course, as OIS, but still for EIS it's pretty impressive. And for vlogging, for walking around, it serves a great job, especially at this low price point. So performance of the video quality, I would say overall is pretty good, with good colors, overall good brightness levels, and you can still pull in quite a lot of detail, especially in landscape shots when you're walking in cities or outdoors. Performance is also pretty good in terms of battery. Again, it got me roughly 2 hours of recording time before I needed to recharge it, which is about average, and Wi-Fi reception is also pretty good in terms of the connection range between this and the phone, which has, again, a pretty intuitive app, as you saw there. So as a whole, I'm pleased with the experience of the E7. The interface is clean, and again, performance is solid. The only thing I'm not a huge fan of would be the fact that, as aforementioned in the beginning of the video, the E7 supports a optional remote control that has voice recognition or voice commands, but that is not included in the box. I think that for a feature that is pretty unique to the market, I would have preferred if they just bundled it with it, even if it meant selling it at a slightly higher cost. Because if you want to pick up all of those accessories like flotation devices and more fancy wristbands and remotes, that will quickly add up, and you have to find it exclusively through ThiEye's website. So maybe having a deluxe package would also be worth looking at, since I don't think that they sell one with all the bundled accessories currently on the market. So for a budget or low-cost action camera, which is under $100, I think that this is a great 4K option. It certainly is leaps and bounds above the first kind of generic 4K cams that we saw about a year and a half ago when they first started getting popular. Even though those claim to have 4K resolution, the footage was still quite similar to 720p or 1080p video files, despite taking up more memory. And that's because the sensor, isn't actually 4K. It's a, really just a 1080p sensor that they try to increase the resolution to the software. This one works a lot better, both with the stabilization and with the quality, as you saw there in terms of the detail of the video. So quite impressive. Even though it doesn't have the most distinctive look, or it doesn't have the best performance in the world, at this price, again, it's good enough for most consumers if you're looking for a solid action camera. Thanks for watching this video here at OS Reviews. This has been the ThiEye E7 4K Action Cam.